Today we're going to be doing a very simple recipe that you too can cook at home. What we're going to need for this recipe is a little bit of 3D, some touchscreen and Nintendo handheldiness. Now you're going to want to put these in a bowl and mix them together for about 2 minutes. Now you can do this by hand or it can be done with a spoon. I personally am using my hands. We pull it out and what we get is the new Nintendo 3DS. So here we go then, this is the Nintendo 3DS, quite possibly the most expensive thing I've ever reviewed. And you might be wondering why I've got this so close to getting my handy DS Lite, which I also have here. Well, that's because I haven't actually got them this close together. They've actually been bought quite far apart, but I haven't filmed any videos, so it looks like I've just essentially got a DS Lite and a few weeks later got a 3DS. Anyway, this is the successor to the excellent Nintendo DS, and of course, since this is a handheld console, we can do an obvious size comparison. So, let's start with size comparison to its big brother, DS Lite. Thickness, well, the screens, the top one is a lot bigger because it's widescreen, the bottom one about the same actually, and if we close them we see that the thickness is pretty much the same. If we look at the side, on the 3DS we have an SD card slot and a volume switch. On the front with the DS Lite we have the volume switch here and the headphone jack there, along with the Game Boy Advance slot, which is missing from the 3DS. We have the central headphone socket, the power light and the charging light, and something there which is a hole for air. And we have the wireless switch to connect it to your home network, and of course the 3D switch. We'll be coming back to that. Button. Another button. These are called shoulder buttons, and I am patronising you. There's your thing for plugging it into the wall, which we do have over here actually. Here is your charger. There's a charging dock which doesn't actually, I thought this initially had an internal battery, so you just plonk it in the wrong way round. That's not right. You plonk it in and it's got an internal battery that you can charge with the charger and it charges, but no, it's just simply a dock. But whatever, no one cares. Anyway, so, sorry, we've gone off topic. Size comparison. Yes, very nice. So that's one. Then we have the Sony PSP, which is the 1000 model. Well, length, the PSP is definitely winning over the 3DS in terms of length. Well, wins depending on how long you like your handhelds. Thickness, 3DS does win, I think, I would say. About the same. And opened, well, we can see that bottom screen is literally about a third more. Top screen still not quite as big or quite as good graphically as the old PSP can get up to, but it's not bad. So, there is the PSP in which case, and here we have, if you're a really old school gamer like me, the Game Boy Advance SP. The bottom bit, the SP does win by a little bit in terms of length. Screens are obviously much bigger on the 3DS. And closed, we see that the SP is obviously a lot thicker. We kind of expected that. And for final's sake, if you do happen to have one of these at home, then you'll be very excited. We have a copy of Chair of Mad Dogs. If you fancy doing a thin thickness comparison, there is no comparison. Mad Dogs loses. But this does have pages, and this just has electronics. Anyway, with that size comparison done, which nobody will have wanted, we can move on to the internals, which have been changed dramatically since the old DS's. We've got a thumbstick, we've got a clicky D-pad type device, we've got a power button, we've got an A button, a B button, a Y button, an X button, we've got a power light, we've got a screen, we've got a 3D thing, we've got stereo speakers, we've got a screen protector because I've put one on, and we've got the clicky select home start buttons, which even the DSi didn't have a home button. I think it's a welcome change, and I like it. Let's just turn the mighty thing on. It takes a little while to start up, actually. Ah, there we go. Ah. This isn't working, is it? Right, give me a minute to adjust the white balance on my camera. So this is one of the built-in games. We've got Face Raiders. Let's go through all the applications in order. That's health and safety. Does anybody read that? Probably not. Now, before we go any further, actually, the 3D. Well, I can't show this to you. Most people have probably seen it anyway. If you haven't, go down to your local big game shop. They've probably got one in stock that you can try out. But I need to be quite wordy about the 3D because I can't actually show it to you because, as we all know, the Nikon Coolpix L23 is not a 3D camera. So that's 2D, 3D. That is quite... Yeah, I can see health and safety is floating in front of me. That is quite a nice effect. Although it just looks weird in the camera. So that's... It's not like you get at the cinema. Where at the cinema, it comes out at you. On this, the background is pushed in, so it makes it look like the foreground sprite's coming out at you, or the health and safety text if you're looking at the main menu. Anyway, let's move on to the next luxurious feature, even though I am talking like this. Why am I still talking like this? I don't know. The game card, there's nothing inserted, so it's just going to show you that. Good. Lovely. Camera. Yes, it's the camera where you can take pictures of things. Groovy. 3DS sound, same as the DSi one. Exactly the same as the DSi one. Ah, yes, the Mi Maker, which I haven't got time to go around and grab the 3DS stylus, so we'll use the DS Lite one. Mi. Let's view the Mi characters. There it is, that is me. It said me. Anyway, that is the King Gamer sprite. That's the King Gamer meat, to be brutally honest with you. I think it looks a bit like me. Ah, yes, now, this is important. I'm not going to move the camera down. It says resume suspended software. But there's no point in telling you it's suspended because you can't go into anything else without closing the suspended software. So what's the point in telling you it's suspended? It's a little bit stupid, to be honest, but whatever. So what I'm going to do now is splice in a QR code of my 3DS Me. Marvellous. Right, anyway, moving on. Yes, Mi Plaza, that's the magnificent thing where you can leave it in sleep mode and collect other people's needs and play an RPG, which I'll go into in another part of this review, because yes, it's multiple parts. This is just the introduction. AR games. Yes, it uses the mighty augmented reality cards that come with the system, which I shall be showing you shortly. Anyway, that's a pretty nice feature, to be honest. I quite like it. It's alright if you haven't actually bought any games with it, much like myself. Anyway. Yes, this is the Face Raiders one, where you use the cameras built into the 3DS, which you're not able to see because I can't zoom out. You can't see it there, but there's a camera on the 3DS. There's one on the inside, two on the outside, so you can take 3D pictures. Fantastic. Anyway, this is the thing where you can take people's faces and put them in here, and fans of WWE will notice that is a Rey Mysterio mask, I think. Which is my brother wearing it, and we have... yeah, activity log. Let's just take a look at what I've been doing. Yes, this is the most used feature. The system settings. It's different pieces, different bits and pieces. Oh yeah, that's brain training. I'll just trying that on to see what old DS game emulation was like. There's Crush 3D demo, there's Resident Evil Revelations demo, and there is Zelda 4 Swords Anniversary, which may very well get a review. Close. Anyway, that is one of the more boring features. This is download play. It works with older DS games and 3DS games. It also works with DSi. Not that anybody's actually bought one. Anyway, that's very nice. It works pretty well. And the only thing I have to say is old DS emulation, unless you hold down select when you start it to make it original resolution, it's quite poor, to be honest. Many people say that it's good. I don't. I think it's apocalyptically bad. The sound is terrible. The visuals are a bit pixelated, and frankly, you'd be better off just playing it on a DSi or a DS Lite. Nintendo eShop. That's a new feature that came with the system update. What firmware are we on? God only knows. 3 point something for system firmware, and it works pretty well, I have to say. There's system settings, not that you care about that, and there is Zelda. That's groovy. Anyway, that is the opening. That is what the 3DS can do in its entirety. I should explain, of course, that this is not the only part of the review. There will in fact be many parts to come in which I shall explain the marketing guff, what's in the box, the games that are available for it, overall usage, and extra stuff that you couldn't care less about. But this was part 1, the introduction. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.